Hello everyone. Today I will be discussing the fundamental concepts of educational planning, and it is very essential and it has a components with the field of educational management. So by the end of this presentation, we should have a clear understanding of what educational planning entails and why it is crucial for the success of a educational system. So let's start with the definition of educational planning. So what is educational planning? So educational planning is a systematic, organized approach to setting goals and also making decisions and determining the best courses of action to achieve these goals in an educational context. So it involves not just the development of strategies, but also the anticipation of future needs and challenges in the education sector. So educational planning is really an essential. It is really an important, especially if we will handle a certain department, for example, in the academy. And there are three key important aspects with regards to educational planning. That is the systematic approach. So the educational plan, it must be a systematic, and also it must be organized or have a goal setting. So when we have this educational plan, if we have this plan, we need to set a goals and we have this desire or goal to achieve the goals that we set for our planning. And also, this is really important for our decision making. And we decide a certain situation or if there's a challenges arise, so our decision making is anchored or based on our plan. So now let's proceed why the educational planning is so important. So first, the importance of having a educational planning is to ensures the resources. Okay, so when once we have this plan, we also plan about the resources in order to achieve our goals that we set in our plan. So these resources is not just talking only for um, financial resources, not just for material resources, but also human resources, the people that we need in order to accomplish the plan that we have set. And also, again, it is not just a material but also a human, and it must be used efficiently. Okay, and then the second one, this planning also provides a clear roadmap for achieving educational goals. So we also have these institutional goals. We also have these goals by our college, and also we have these goals by our department. So we have different um, goals. So by having this educational planning, it will helps us to achieve our goals. So it will be like a roadmap or like a blueprint or as our guide in order to achieve these different educational goals. And also, it allows us to address various challenges such as population growth, economic shifts, and the rapid pace of technological change, and which is also impact the education system. Again, it will become easy for us to solve certain challenges or issues or problems that will possibly arise in our day-to-day work in our, for example, in our department. So by having this educational planning, we can easily address or we can easily solve certain problems or issues that will arise because we have this roadmap, we have this blueprint. We can easily identify what are the tools that we need to use in order to solve certain challenges or problems. And also some possible changes like in the economy or in the technological advancement. Now, we are going to discuss also that there are different types of educational planning that we need to be familiar with. So the first one is we have this long term and we have this short term planning. So for the long term planning, it is focuses on goals set for example, 10 or 15 or even 20 years down to the line. While short term planning may deal with objectives to be achieved with 1 to 3 years. So there are long term planning, that there are also a short term planning. And also, one important types of executional planning is the strategic planning. So the strategic planning, on the other hand, is concerned with broad, overarching goals. Okay, while the operational planning deals with the specific actions and processes needed to achieve these goals. So we have long-term planning, we have this short-term planning, and the strategic planning will help us to see the broader area or the overarching goals of our educational goals. And also the operational planning, it is also important so that we can identify the specific action or the processes needed to achieve our educational goals. Okay, so these three types of educational planning is really important in order to accomplish the the goals that we have set in our department, and also the goals that's set by our leaders, the head of our institution. So for the conclusion, educational planning is a vital process that requires a careful consideration and continuous assessment. So the planning is not um, will not stop immediately, but rather it is a continuous planning and assessment. So after we have set the goals, like we have discussed a while ago, that there's a long-term planning, there's a short-term planning. For example, in the year 2024 to 2028. So after 2028, we need to assess our planning if we achieve some targets, and then we will make some modifications for the future planning. For example, the future 2028 to 2032, for example. So this is really important, especially for those who have in the management position. So it is not just about setting goals, but also about being adaptable to change and ensuring that we can meet the educational needs of the future. So again, for the conclusion, or if we will wrap up this topic, as a future educators and planners, it is our responsibility to understand these concepts, and it needs to understand deeply and apply them effectively in our different departments that we handle. So before I will end my presentation, I will show you examples of our, we call it strategic plan in the institution that I am part with. So I am part with the Bohol Island State University, Kandihay campus. So this is the example of our strategic plan. So this is for the 2024, this year, until 2028. So I'll show you, this is the cover page of our strategic plan, and this is the table of contents. So we can see here the different pillars in our strategic plan or in our institution. So we have this instruction, research and innovation, extension, production, physical plant development, good governance, and students affairs and services. So we anchor this strategic planning based on these pillars. So I'll show you the summary of the strategies and expected outcomes. So part of this manual, so as I have mentioned, one of the pillars is the instruction. So we have these institutional goals that I have discussed a while ago, that we need to set a goals and we have the target to accomplish the goals that we have set. So in this case, for our institution in BISU. So we can see here the goals. For example, pursue faculty and education excellence, and strengthen the current viable curricular programs and develop curricular programs that are responsive to the demands of the times, both in the industry and environment. So this is an example of institutional goals that is anchored in the instruction, which is one of the pillar of our institution. So I'll just show you the summary of strategies and expected outcomes. So we also have these objectives in order to accomplish the goals and the strategies. So it is written here in this column. And what are the expected outcomes if we after we set the goals, after we do the specific process, just like I have mentioned a while ago about the one of the planning, which is the operational planning, the specific things that you need to do to accomplish the goals that we have set. So these are the expected outcomes if we accomplish these things. So we have instruction, research and innovation, extension, production, physical plant, good governance, and student affairs. Okay, so this is the summary of our strategic planning for the year 2024 and 2028. Now, I will show you also, so that is for the institution. So we have different campuses. So that is our plan as a whole, as a system-wide of our institution. So I will also share to you the supervisory plan. So it is not for institutional, but rather from our college. Okay, so I'm under the College of Business and Management. So this is the plan made by our dean. So we can see here the activities, the specific process or the activity that we need to do, and we also have the time frame, person involved. This is also, I have mentioned a while ago that the um, admin will not also plan for the financial or material resources, but also human resources. And we have this budgetary allocation, and the last part, the column, the remarks. So this is example of a supervisory plan, which means our supervisor, the direct supervisor, will also have a plan for her or his faculty. So this is also an example of program of receipt and expenditures that will be consumed, that will be allotted for the year 2024, for example. So one of that is the training and seminars, office supplies and devices. So these resources is vital in order to accomplish the plan that's set by our institution and also in our college. And lastly, I will show to you so the institution will not just have a plan for the entire system of the institution, not just on also the our direct supervisor, which is the dean of the college, the plan for our faculty, but also for us as an individual faculty, we need also have an individual development plan in order to develop ourselves professionally, personally, or in all aspects of our lives in order for us to develop. So we have this called Faculty Development Plan or IDP for the year 2024 and 2028. So we will include, so our plan must be anchored also in our institutional plan. So we can see here high quality instruction, um, impactful research, innovative solutions, and meaningful creative works. So it talks about the objectives, the development activity, what are the activity in order to accomplish the objective or the goals, the supports that we need in order to accomplish our plan, and the target deadlines and others. So we also have here the transformative extension services and sustainable enterprise. And lastly, the holistic development. Okay, it is not, we need to have a plan not just only for our professional development, but as a whole, as a human being. So I think that's all for my reporting, and thank you for your time.